Buenos dias, gamers. I have another book to review for you today in another RPG review. And today I am covering Dave Perry on game design. It is a massive book. It's pretty heavy. I'm going to drop it on my table right now. Here's what it sounds like when I drop it on my table. So it's probably the heaviest book on my bookshelf right now. And it is an expensive book. I think it was $60 or so, but it is a seminal work. It is a book on all aspects of game design as it relates to video games. But because it focuses a lot on RPG games and real-time strategy games and shooter type games, there's a lot of overlap with tabletop role-playing games. And so today I'm going to tell you why I think it's worth its weight in gold. The first thing is I'll go through the 7 parts of the book. So the book is divided into 7 sections, and then each section has several chapters. And I won't go chapter by chapter, but by giving you the idea of what's in each section, each part, I think you'll have an idea of the breadth of coverage of anything to do with game design. So the first one is a business to business. The first 2 parts actually are business to business type items about the gaming industry, video gaming industry, and publishing in general. So those probably won't be applicable to us. It would for gamer lifestylers, which is my how to get your work published, your RPG work published course. But for us, game masters, not very useful. Fortunately, it's a very short pair of sections, and they don't take up much of the book. The next part 3, is on storytelling. And that has a lot of information. It covers a lot of storytelling techniques. Actually, let me open the table of contents because this is one of the sections I am most keen on. I still haven't seen every page of this book. I'm slowly thumbing through it. You'll see a lot of it influence future role-playing tips issues as well. All right, storytelling techniques, genres, scenarios. And I don't know, it covers 2.5 full pages of the table of contents, which itself is several pages long. It covers different kinds of scenarios like fleeing something, unexpected danger, tit for tat, preemptive strikes. So all of these story themes and types that appear in video games are deconstructed and described. And so to me, that's pure gold for when I'm planning adventures. Part 4 is about characters. So the same thing, an in-depth analysis of how to make awesome characters. And this covers both characters that the player will play in a video game, and there's overlap for player characters, but also characters that are in the game for the players to meet up. So that's our NPC advice right there. Part 5 is all about worlds. Part 6 is about the experience of design. This is an excellent section. It has things like rewards and obstacles. So this is a more abstracted, what makes games fun kind of a section. And again, that's just, I'm pouring through the advice. There's some conversion needed because of the video game angle, but at the very least, this stuff gives me food for thought, things to mull over, and how to bring it into the tabletop level. And part 7, the last one, is about arms, weapons and armor. The book has a lot of lists and tables in it, so we can just yoink these straight out, put them in to our campaigns, and I'll give you 2 examples that I have flagged here just to show you the kind of information that's available in the book. So here's a list of what restricts the player. So this list is more than 2 pages long, and it has things like time pressure, lack of choices, too many choices, too much information, meaningless interactivity, linear fixed missions. I mean, we've heard about this before, but each of the list items covers a paragraph, and they might have angles and approaches and points that you might not have considered before, depending on where you are in your game mastering career. So this goes on for a couple of pages, another page here, bad acting, plot, and that's a list. So you don't get just a quick bullet list, you get a list with a treatment, a description. Another example is, this is more of a pure list of things for ideas and inspiration, things you can do in RTSs. And so it has sections like what you would do in sort of an economy-oriented game. I'll just give you so that's just a bullet type list example. Create buildings, upgrade buildings, destroy buildings, create or destroy troops. So if you're looking at, say, kingdom level gaming, this might be useful. But then we go to the next page, and these are all the things that characters or players can do, actions they can take. Now, from a video game design perspective, this is important because you need to code all of those things. You need art and a whole bunch of assets and logic to be able to handle the different character actions. But in a role-playing game, of course, we do away with that whole level. And so all we need is the ideas and some kind of thought ahead of time, or be really good on jamming on your feet, but how we will react to players who take these actions. So this list is perfect for prompting that kind of thinking. But in addition, if you find things being stale or boring, you can just go to this list and think, oh, well, players haven't done that in a while. I will try to get that going in my game. For example, destroy an enemy. All right, well, we do that every encounter almost. Make allies help allies. Build roads. Include a political model. Build up your resources, exchange resources. Heckle other players. I wonder if we can create a mechanic where you get a reward for a good burn on a fellow player. Surrender, patrol, set waypoints, lay a trap, spy on opponents, capture buildings, pollute the world. So, lots of ideas in this list. And then there's pages and pages of lists like this. NPC, quest examples, things you can do in RPGs, things you can do in arcade games. So the book is full of lists. There's a lot of commentary and editorial, so it's not purely a generator type book. I don't want to give that impression. But in how many pages is this thing? Yeah, in a 1,000-page book, it's going to have a few lists in it. So 1,000 pages means it's very comprehensive. I think it is actually the soup to nuts, the A to Z coverage of gaming, of video gaming, and therefore it covers a lot of territory in tabletop gaming. The book also has several design challenges. So at the end of certain sections, it will say, okay, well, here's an activity you can do to see if you understand what was just discussed in the chapter. And one example that I just saw when flipping through the book this morning was to go back through video games that you've played and go back to the list of actions that you can do within that was described in the chapter. And then think about video games that you could do that well in, where the gameplay was nice and smooth and fun, and think of video games that didn't handle that well. And just that activity, if you think back, what's the difference? Where's the gap exist between the good experience and the bad experience with these several specific things? Those are fantastic thinking exercises that we can use to make our game mastering better. And then last, this book has a 25-page index. So on top of a several-page table of contents, the index in the back is fantastic. So if you've read something or you're just wanting to look at something at random, chances are you're going to be able to find it in the index. So this book is so heavy, my arm's getting sore. I think it's a valuable addition to my gaming bookshelf. It is worth its weight in gold. Thanks.